Hey, welcome back to the Championship Mindset podcast, where we sit down with local community leaders, people out there in the world making a difference, and learn a little bit about their story to use it as inspiration for the people that tune in and watch and listen to this podcast so that you may become your own best version of a leader in your community, in your family, and the people that you have the opportunity to interact with. My name's Eric Brewer. I am a real estate entrepreneur and business owner here in York, Pennsylvania. I've been in real estate since about 2006. Currently lead a team of just over 45 employees and have become literally obsessed with leadership. I've found in my background that leadership is literally life or death. And not to be overly dramatic, but I've literally seen people's lives that have been saved and changed in a very positive way by coming across a leader that has broken bad habits, taught them new habits, and held them accountable to do better and improve the situations that they find themselves in. And then I've seen people that continue to struggle day in and day out that just lack a leader in their life that grabs them by the collar, pulls them aside, gives them a good talking to, and then shows them that they actually love and care about their life and that they matter and that there's a different way to behave, a different way to think, a different way to talk, a different way to treat people that will lead you towards, just experiencing prosperity and joy and happiness and balance in your life. And that's no different than what we're going to do today. Very excited to have a guest here today that will talk about his individual experience with leadership and his practices and how he leads and impacts the people around him. And I hope that that will give you some inspiration today. All right, so I'm here today with Peter Bottros, and super excited to learn more about you. We've had some mutual friends, and I think we've crossed paths over the years. But just super excited to sit down today and learn more about your past and what you have going on and what's led you to where you are today. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey that has led you to where you are today.
Sure, man. Well, Eric, thank you so much for having me. It's definitely an honor to be here with you. Um, my name is Peter. I am the founder of the Shine Music Foundation, as well as the co-owner of Revival Beauty and Wellness here in New York. And originally, I was born and raised in Egypt. Came here when I was 10 years old. Went to Central York High School, and then went to Penn State York. And throughout these years, coming to a whole new country, you face a lot of adversity, and it was a complete cultural shock for me. Um, so my biggest thing, music was a big part of my life. It really helped me go through a lot of things in life. Um, and um, Moving forward, music became kind of a thing I had a passion working with kids. So I used music to be able to bring kids to our music school, um, and to kind of teach them leadership and give them mentorship, because success is a mindset. And um, so as much as we love music and teaching music, I think our main focus is um, getting our mind right and having good people around them and provide opportunities for them and have them go out in the community and meet people that they may not think they have the chance to meet to or talk to. So over the past almost a decade now, our kids have been pretty much on every stage here in York, every big stage, almost every venue, and they got in through doors where they got to meet a lot of people, made connections, got jobs out of it, and now to a point where I got kids who are in colleges and full scholarships in music and traveling all over the country and even outside the country, um, chasing their dreams and chasing their
Yeah,
passions.
tell me a little bit about 10 years old. You made the journey to come here from Egypt.
Yeah,
Uh, what was that like?
it was scary, man.
I bet.
Came with my parents and my brother. And I remember, as if it was yesterday, we got dropped off at the bus station right by the ref stadium. Used to be a Greyhound. It used to be a
Yeah,
bus
yeah, yeah.
station back
I remember.
there.
Yeah.
And I remember it was at nighttime. And we had a couple bags with us. My parents barely had nothing without, and so it was a very scary moment. I'm sure it was even more scary for my parents.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, and there's so much there, I think, that a lot of us take for granted, right? At 10 years old, I remember moving to a different school across town felt scary, which just pales in comparison to like literally moving across, halfway across the world. Tell us a little bit about like what I'm assuming that decision was made by your parents to leave your home in Egypt and come here. Walk us through a little bit about like I guess as best as you can, what what was it, or what decision was made by your family at that point to pack everybody up and move to the U.S.
Sure. Our biggest decision maker was the town we lived in. There was a lot of religious persecution. So to a point where, I was afraid to go to church. I was afraid to go to certain places. Um, my dad's businesses got broken into and things like that. So I think my dad made the decision to uh, come here, and I'm glad we did. And coming to America at that time was extremely hard. It's like a lottery type thing. You have to put your name in, and you get picked. So thank God we got picked. Um, as soon as we got the results, we got on the flight and came here.
Yeah. So, by the way, I remember the bus station, much shorter trip. But after I did my time in the U.S. Army back in the mid 90s, I only had enough money to take the bus from Killeen, Texas to York, PA. And that was the
Mm.
bus I'll never forget. I got off with like this, the big Army duffel bag.
Yeah.
Had my whole life stuffed in the duffel bag and got off. So I do remember the bus station there. I get maybe that terminal is gone, but like if a little further up in front of Rev Stadium, there's still like a portion of it that's now like a clothing supply company or something. We
So,
talk
yeah.
about the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys get here, you show up in the U.S. Now what?
We had to figure it out. But I think what's really cool is, despite all that stuff that we were dealing with, I think the biggest thing we have was hope. And I think that's what really led us to come into this country and, try to figure out and work really hard. And, um, my parents, when they first came here, they had to work jobs that they were not used to. My dad was at Marino's at the time, washing
Pizza?
dishes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And my mom was at Round the Clock
Okay.
doing the same exact thing. So we literally started, you know, get to start somewhere with my parents. And my parents are, they come from a country where, they have a really good life there and everything is set for them. So I do appreciate everything they have done for my brother and I to sacrifice everything that they've had over there to come here and build a life for us.
I think that's interesting as we talk about leadership. There's a couple things that you've said there that I think uncover what I believe to be some key leadership principles. And it's clear, as I'm sure as we'll work through the rest of your journey, that those principles probably come up time and time again. But the one thing you said, and I want to dive a little bit deeper just to give some people some context, is you said they had a pretty good life in Egypt, yet religious persecution was the thing that really, you know, uh, forced their hand or made moving and making that big of a change an easy decision or an easier decision. And I think it's one of the things that maybe we take for granted, particularly in this country, is that for the most part, with a few exceptions, most people are allowed to believe what they believe, practice what they want to practice without, being persecuted. When you say religious persecution, what do you mean?
Um, being a Christian in a very dominant, um, Egypt is mainly, Muslims, 70% Muslims, 30% Christians. The village I lived at, the city we lived in, it was a lot of extremism there. So that's what made it a lot more harder for us to be in that area. So religious persecution has been happening for a very long time, many, many, many years. I think that's something that, on this side of the world, we don't see as much. So, and faith is a big part of my life, has been a big part of our lives since growing up. So it's something extremely important for us. So when we came here, the freedom to, like you said, we have the freedom to practice any religion here safely for the most part. Um, so it felt good being able to, um, share about your faith. For me in Egypt, it was really hard for me to share about my faith, to a point where, like, even if I had a cross necklace, sometimes I'd have to tuck it in, depending where I go. Now that was, almost 30 years ago. Things are a little different now.
Yeah.
There's a lot more unity.
Good.
Um, so it's really good to see. So when I go back home to Egypt, which I'm going back next month, I feel very safe. So, um, so it's really awesome to see things moving in a good direction.
And I think like the lesson I take from that is a key aspect of leadership is two things: faith and an elevated level of belief. Like I read a lot of books and try and like study and follow in the footsteps of people that have come before me that have experienced levels of success that I admire. And one of the things I always realize is they almost have like this elevated doesn't do it justice, like a unjustifiable level of faith and belief. And the other part from that, and by the way, I appreciate you sharing that with me, is principles and standing firm on principles. Some people may call them values or principles. And, and what I mean by that is there's a lot of people that under that same religious persecution would have folded, potentially compromised their standards and beliefs and just said, we have a nice life, right? We're just kind of compromise and stay under the radar, or maybe not be bold and courageous about our faith. And we'll maybe just suppress our beliefs and like tuck our chain all the time, right? So much tuck that we don't even maybe believe that anymore. So I admire the fact, and I think it's a great form of symbolism and leadership of standing on principles and beliefs that are near and dear to us, and then making big decisions based on those principles or beliefs.
Yes.
Right. It kind of goes back to like what's the old saying? If you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. So I think it's a great testament to you and your family that there was principles and beliefs that meant so much that you would uproot from what sounds like, you said your father owned businesses. So it sounds like he had, probably some level of freedom and financial, luxuries that a lot of people would admire. And your belief and your faith and those principles were so important that it led them to uproot all of that, come to a big scary place, and take probably what felt like hundreds of steps backwards.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I apologize for disrupting your story there, but I think for the sake of this podcast, I don't want that to be glazed over, because I think, throughout our lives, there are times, if you use that as an analogy, where our faith, whatever that is, right? It could be your belief in anything. It doesn't have to be your belief in Jesus Christ. It can be your belief in your own abilities. It could be your belief in a project, your belief in your, deserving a new promotion. It could be whatever, combined with your standards and principles. If those are the foundation on which we make decisions, it gives you strength to push through tough times. Right.
Absolutely.
So I guess that's what I wanted to extract from that. And really highlight, because it's a good analogy for other things that happen in life. We got to pack up, root, and leave a bad relationship, or we got to pack up and leave a bad professional situation, or we got to pack up and leave our old habits that feel comfortable but don't align with our principles, or don't align right with our belief. And I think it's one of the things that I've noticed about the leaders that I've had the blessing of being around, is that they have the courage to make difficult decisions, and it is almost always because of an elevated level of belief and a firm footing in good principles.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, mom's around the clock, dad's at Marino's.
Knows, yeah.
Peter's 10 years old. You have any other siblings?
I have one brother,
Okay, and your brother's older, younger?
3 year younger.
Okay, so he's 9.
He's 9.
And what's your life look like then? So mom and dad are grinding.
Yeah.
You're in school. You end
I was
up
in school, went
okay.
to Central York.
Now, do you speak English when you come over here?
I do not speak English at all.
So you show up in school and you don't
Yes.
speak the native language.
Nothing at all.
And you go
That
to
was the
Central
hardest
York
thing.
High School.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I was
Now-
really blessed to have some amazing teachers with me and some mentorships and ESL teachers that's been there.
Is there
for me.
one that like sticks out?
Mrs. Hoffman.
Mrs. Huffley.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like the
Mrs. Hoffman.
most popular
is working there.
most popular
Yeah.
school teacher name ever.
Yeah.
Mrs. Huffman. Okay. And who else?
And Mrs. Workinger.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what made Mrs. Huffman or Mrs. Workinger so impactful or special?
Their level of careness and the amount of love they showed for me and my brother, I think it was, you can feel it,
Yeah.
so I felt very comfortable with them, and they really cared. So they're definitely names I'll never forget for the rest of my life here. So, because they were one of the first people that really showed me around and taught me English, and
What was that like? I don't know that I could imagine showing up to a school, speaking the language and being new is scary enough. What was that like? So like, I mean, did you speak a little bit of English? Not
Zero.
really, like zero.
it was hi, bye. That's pretty much about it.
Yeah.
I remember I would walk in class, and they would have their class session, and they would have me on a computer, typing stuff.
Yeah.
Or I remember this one program called All the Right Types,
Okay.
and that's all I've been doing. And you know what was crazy is typing kind of transitioned to my career in piano.
Yeah.
It helped with my fingers and my movement. So it's kind of crazy how that kind of ties to my profession as well.
It's it's funny. You've said that faith has always been a big part of your life. It's only been a part of my life for about the last 3.5 years. And I would catch myself saying things like, that's crazy or that's wild. Until I realized that God has a plan for our lives and it's not actually crazy. If you think about like the path that God had for your life, but since before you were born, of course you would show up in the US and of course you would spend your time typing on a computer. And of course that would give you this unique ability to quickly learn and love the piano, which I got to remember after this. I need to get my daughter Maya connected with you.
Absolutely.
Before my wife and I had our first daughter, she just imagined that one of our children would play the piano at some point. So we bought it was a relatively expensive piano that's been in our house for 10 years and no one's touched it.
Okay.
It actually was like a big coffee table for stuff that, yeah. You would be disappointed.
Big no.
Yeah, yeah. So about a week ago, my oldest daughter, Maya, who this school year had a project and a group of her classmates had to play the recorder.
Okay.
And it was a little disruptive inside the house. She was literally walking around playing the whole thing. And in the beginning, she didn't do very well. So it didn't sound real good. But they would get like these little, I don't know the names, but they would get like a little tassel each time she would pass. And it was like a green belt, a black belt, a yellow belt. And she was one of only 2 kids out of the entire class that reached the highest level. So she's always been like a basketball player. She's been a little athletic for a girl and has, spent a lot of time with her brother. And then like a week ago, she takes her mom's phone and shows up at the piano and just starts playing. And I'm like, I thought somebody was visiting the house. I'm like, who's out? Nobody in the house can play the piano. And she's like, Dad, I'm watching it on TikTok.
Yeah.
And she could find music that streams. And she now, I guess, can read a little bit of music from the recorder.
Yeah.
So she just starts playing. And now, so every day when she comes home, she just goes and sits in front of the piano, sets her cell phone up on the thing, and just starts going. It's like literally in a week, she like taught herself to play the piano in a week. And now she's like obsessed with it.
Yeah.
So I need to make sure that we talk after this. And she's certainly if she enjoys it and wants to do it,
Yeah.
I want to get her in
Yeah.
the right places. But so anyway, my whole point is that it's kind of crazy, but it's not really.
Yeah.
As a believer, you know, that would be the path, that if God wanted
Yeah.
you to be who you are today, making an impact in the world
Yeah.
through the piano and through music, it seems like a very logical way
Yes.
for you to have your eyes opened. And so you're typing,
Yeah.
barely speak English, you know, 2 words, hi and bye.
Yeah.
All this crazy stuff's happening around you. Talk us from that point. Mrs. Huff and Mrs. Workinger love on you. They care for you.
Yeah.
They ease the transition into school. Pick us up from 10 years old.
Yeah. It took me about 2 to 3 years to really start communicating with people. Then things got a little easier. Of course, and I was involved in sports as well too, so I was able to make friends through that as well. I was a soccer player when I came here.
Is that like the number one
That is
sport?
what I mean, the sport.
I guess it's like the number one sport everywhere except the U.S., right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And since I could like walk, I played soccer. I was on the streets playing soccer at the time. So when I came here, soccer was not big. So I remember during recess, I would go out there with a soccer ball, and you know, I was pretty advanced compared to, because nobody really played soccer as much here. Um, and then, you know, I thought about it too before. I kind of regret not keeping up with soccer, because, you know, that could help me with scholarships and things like that. But I didn't know any of that stuff here. My parents did not know any of that stuff here. Their job was to, you know, put food and provide shelter for us. So I never really had guidance. We just kind of had to figure it out. You know, from all the papers you have to sign for schoolwork and school things, you know, I had to sign it myself because my parents could not really understand what it is. So yeah, sports. Then I got into basketball. Got to meet a lot of people throughout the county here, and then I was also that kid that I wanted to learn instruments, but at the time my parents could not afford it, so I had to teach myself.
Was there someone that like introduced you to a particular instrument?
It was at church, the drums.
Okay.
So then I picked it up, taught myself drums, and became a drum.
So at church, the drums. Tell me a little bit more about this. Someone's like, "Hey, you ought to
Yeah.
play the drums. You like banging on stuff."
Yeah.
Or what? How's that happen?
Even being actually on a real set, I was always banging on stuff. I would have sticks and bang on things out. I feel like I always had that gift inside of me,
Yeah.
but I was trying to figure it out.
What gift?
The gift of just music.
Like hearing it, understanding it, feeling it.
Yeah. I was very in tune with it, with beats and instrumentals, and I would always just really look into music and kind of like, it was a big interest of mine.
Yeah.
So taught myself the drums and started playing drums.
Taught yourself the drums.
Yeah.
How does one teach themselves the drums?
You just get on it and make noises and bang and figure it out.
Yeah. And this was always at church? Is this where
That's when it
the
started.
drums were? Okay.
Yeah.
And anybody there that kind of realized, I guess at some point, that you were self-teaching, that stepped in and gave you some
I
help?
don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just kind of let you
Kind of let
bang on the drums on your own. And
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
good.
just keep improving.
Yeah.
But I loved it, you know.
Yeah.
So like I put a lot of time in it. And then after high school, went to Penn State York.
Okay.
Which, funny enough, full circle. Yesterday, I get a call from Penn State York, and they said, "Hey, Peter, your name's been popping up on our committee and board, and we would love for you to be our commencement speaker for this year's graduating class."
That's amazing.
So thank you.
Yeah.
So I was in shock, and you know, got chills on the phone,
Yeah.
and I'm like, wow, because usually, like, I'm a man of few words. You know, this is not comfortable for me. Being on camera is not comfortable for me.
Yeah.
But now I know my job is to mentor others, inspire others, uplift others. So didn't even think twice about it. And I said, yes, I'm in. All right. So back to Penn State York, went there, and they had this really nice grand piano in the community room, and that was my first time being on a piano, and I jumped on it, and I knew right away, this is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life.
Mhm.
And I was willing to do whatever it took to make it happen. So I spent many years in that room, teaching myself as well. So I'm also self-taught, can't read music. Um,
So, hold on for a second. If you can't read music, uh, how do you play it?
I play by ear.
Okay.
Yeah, I
So
play by ear.
you don't, it's funny. I was, um, doing some studying today, and it was about the three styles of learning, and it was audible, visual, and then kinesthetic. Um, so you're all like, you can hear
Yeah,
the note kind of, or you
yeah,
can hear the music, and then you kind of play your way through getting the actual sound from the instrument. Is that, am I doing a decent job of
yeah, yeah,
explaining how that
absolutely.
may happen?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just I love the sound of it, and it was just experimental. You know, let's say I heard a song on the radio. Oh, that sounds amazing. That's kind of like, then I jump on the piano and try to figure it out. And then from there, I built to learning more and more and more songs. And then kind of like everything kind of started clicking. And now to a point where my strength as a pianist is composing music. But these are my strengths, being able to compose for pretty much an entire orchestra. That's kind of my strengths. So um, my career or my music passion for piano started there at Penn State York, to a point where professors would come in during their lunch hour to listen to me play.
Yeah.
Janitors, students would pop in, and I loved it because now I was having some type of audience
Yeah.
coming in and appreciating.
Yeah.
So it feels good when you like, when you love something, you're passionate about something, and you want to share it with the world. So it started giving me more confidence in pursuing it more and learning as much as I can. And then after I graduated college, I remember I had this dream of doing my very first concert at Penn State York Pula Center. Um, and I remember 2016 going to the Pula Center, and I remember speaking to Tina, who ran that department. And I was like, "Hey, my name is so and so. I'm looking to do a concert here." And I think they looked at me first like, who's this guy type thing. And then I was like, "Well, I'd like to rent it out, and I would like to do my very first concert here." And I remember leaving the Pula Center, and I'm walking to my car, and I'm thinking, "Holy crap! Like, what did I just do?"
Mm-hmm.
Because I did not have musicians with me. I did not have anybody. I did not have a show, to be honest with you. I just woke up and like, this is where I really want to go. And I had about 8 months to make it happen. And that's when I really started being in New York City and being out there and talking to people about what we're doing, what I'm trying to do, which I had really no idea at the point, but it comes back to like belief and faith. That's all I had. I just had a good feeling about it. And 8 months later, we come to the Pool Center. I had about 75 people involved on concert. Um, Lots of kids involved. From all
You say involved how?
part of the show, whether they're playing music with me, whether they're dancing, whether they're singing, choir, even from contemporary dancers to ballet dancers to my music that I composed.
Yeah.
Um, and the day of the show was a sold out concert. That was over 1,000 people at show. And that's when my career started in music. And that's when I think when people kind of started, maybe he's got something type
Yeah.
thing. And but it was also the same day I announced the Shine Music Foundation, and my passion to working with kids and mentoring kids.
Where's the word or the name shine come from?
You know, both ways, as in faith-based, and give kids an opportunity to shine on stage. When we do concerts, you'll see a lot of kids. It's not just, I like to have individuals uh, to show off their talent.
Yeah.
So we're all one big group, but you'll get to see so many different kids and musicians that will shine on stage. It wasn't just me.
Yeah.
For me, I would rather be behind the scene type thing. But um, I think, yeah, kind of give the opportunity for people, for kids to shine on stage.
So give us a little bit more background and some insight into the Shine Music Foundation and how you work with kids and how many kids you are currently working
Sure.
with, and um, yeah, give us a little bit more.
So the nonprofit was official in 2017, and then we started in the school district here in New York City. So I had some teachers out, and we were teaching all different types of instruments. Um, and then we moved to quite a few different places. And now, just in the last year and a half ago, we acquired our own building. And that's when things really started taking off more. Having that location, having that spot, I think it became more real, more believable for people. Um, but over the years, we probably worked with over 1,000 kids. Um, it's been almost a decade now. So we have about close to 100 kids throughout the week from New York City, and from kids coming to our school. And we do a few other things with other partners, to teach music therapy and teach lessons and instruments and things like that. So it's been a lot of stuff going on now, to a point where we're kind of at a capacity with all the resources that we have, because we're very limited to the resources that we have. Um, Over the many years, though, I've been pretty much self-funding it for almost all these years. And now to a point where the community has been a big help.
Yeah.
People like Powder Mill, people like um, Winners Giving Circle, and you know, Judge Jimbalvo, and and then just lots of other individuals throughout the community. It's just been a big support. Um, so it's been an amazing ride.
Tell me a little bit about one of the things I've enjoyed about, as we sit here in Bonnie Grimes' gym, is that sports creates great leadership and teaching moments. For example, I have a son that plays college basketball. My two oldest daughters, who are 10 and 8, Maya and Lily, have expressed like some interest in competing in basketball specifically right now. And one of the things I really love about sports is not so much like winning trophies or making this team. And it's like, while a child is between that age of like 8 to say 18, sports sometimes carry a very important part of their life. So I have their attention.
Yeah.
And if I want to teach them certain principles or good habits that I think will pay off in life, it's been easier for me to communicate that and teach it through a basketball practice or a football practice or a tennis lesson. And what happens is, one day, for most kids, sports are no longer the focus, and then you have to go to a job or a career. And hopefully what happens is those good habits or principles or lessons from sports carry over. Talk a little bit about, like, I guess, in your personal experience and what you're doing with Shine as a musician.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you finding the opportunity to teach what feel like music lessons right now, but carry over into adulthood and potentially the rest of their life, that actually turn out to be just really good life
Yes.
lessons?
Man, it's seeing my kids' growth over the years we've been with them. It's been a lot about leadership. And now I see them doing the same exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
I got kids who are now in high school who are now teaching other kids. So now they're taking leadership positions. And now they're mentoring and showing them how to play the drums or whatever instrument. And we build leadership even throughout, when we do shows and concerts. Like, I have our kids as young as 12, 13 years old taking leadership on stage, in sports, that you call plays.
Mm-hmm.
The same on stage. The musicians, we call plays. I let them call the plays. I let them call, when should we change up? When should we come back to the main verse? So we teach that with them. And it's pretty awesome to see when you see a young kid, putting up hand signs for to call the next.
Yeah. I think
call.
I think the great lesson in that, from what you just said, is I think there's different forms of effective leadership. Some work better than others. And I think a big potential misconception from a lot of people is leadership equals control. I'm going to dictate. I'm the best musician. I'm the best piano player. So I'm going to dictate and tell everybody what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, which I think uh, is actually the opposite of leadership. What I found is leadership is creating an atmosphere for other people to take control.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what you just said, right? Was why let them call the play?
Yeah.
So I think there's a pivotal moment where I can remember in my career where I very much was the controller. I felt like, hey, because I know best, or I've been at this the longest, or I have the most experience, that I should control all of those decisions. And what I found is that that may work for a short period of time, but if my focus went somewhere else, then the team would suffer because no one else had been in a position yet to lead or make a decision or call a play. So it made it very difficult for us to grow because we couldn't grow beyond my individual capacity to make decisions. And then the other thing I found is even if we were able to do a good job, is that under that type of leadership, nobody grows. And as humans, I've learned that when we stop growing, we leave. We feel compelled. Like if you put, if you and I lived in this gym over a period of time, we're just going to outgrow the space. It doesn't matter. It's just the two of us. We're going to go, I don't have enough room. I can't do what I want to do. The court's not big enough. There's not enough baskets. Right? Like we naturally feel this embedded responsibility to grow. And as a leader, if you don't create space for your people to grow, and a lot of times what that actually boils down to is the permission for someone to fail.
Mm.
Because it's likely to, how many times have you failed in your entrepreneurial journey or your music journey, or like imagine playing the piano and the first time you made a mistake, you're like, I'm not cut out for this.
Yeah.
But yet that's what we do to people.
Yeah.
When we lead them in an ineffective way, they make a mistake and go, you shouldn't have done that. I should have made that decision. I'm going to take back control, or I'm going to have oversight of that, or I'm going to micromanage. Where the reality is most of us that have reached a level of success have failed over and over and over and over. But for some broken reason, we believe when we lead people that we're supposed to protect them from failure. And the reality is we're not protecting them from failure. In my experience, we're cheating them out of the opportunity to grow. So congrats to you for creating space for your students to call the play. And
We're at a point now where I don't have to play with them anymore, which is crazy. They can now run their whole entire show.
yeah.
So it's pretty awesome to see.
It's a good guy that I follow by the name of John Maxwell. It says, when you reach the epitome of leadership, you are leading other leaders. So sounds like you're well on your way. So tell us a little bit about, you had mentioned that you had Shine and then you had this other business and thing that you're excited about. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we have Revival Beauty and Wellness, which is a med spa that provides IV infusions, testosterone therapy, HRTs for women, peptides, Botox, all that type of stuff. So that's something I'm also very passionate about, health. So my business partner, Amy, and I came together and kind of made it happen. And we're located here in New York City. So it's been an awesome venture. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. How long's that been around now, or how long you been doing that?
Revival, I started 4 years ago.
Okay.
And then the med spa about a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Peter, again, thanks so much for being here today. It's been very cool to hear about your journey, and I'd love for you to share with our listeners where they can keep track of you personally, or find out more about Shine Music Foundation, and keep their eyes on Revival and find you there as well. Where can people find you?
Absolutely, man. So we're on Shine Music Foundation on Facebook, and Revival Beauty and Wellness on Facebook as well. And December 13th, we're having our biggest gala for Shine. It'll be at the Outdoor Country Club. So you'll get to see a lot of our kids perform, and it's a way for us to raise money for our foundation. And that's December 13th at the Outdoor Country Club. So hopefully we'll see some of you guys there.
Cool. We would,
Well, actually, you're one of the sponsors there. I don't know if you know it or not.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
you had reached out to
Okay,
me.
yeah.
If you met with Lauren.
So I appreciate that.
Thanks for doing that.
Yeah,
appreciate it. It was great to see you making
Yeah.
a difference. So thanks for tuning in to the Championship Podcast. We'll see you on the next episode.